Good.
Welcome back to another episode just off the plate. It is episode 46. Just Armando and I tonight. So you're lucky. How we doing, good sir?
I'm doing good, man. Weather's good.
Weather,
Baseball's good.
weather's nice. You just got back from California?
I did.
Yeah.
I took the cold weather with me.
Understand visiting the Dodgers. They were interested in you?
I was. But you know what? I said, I like playing around with friends. I don't know them that well. So I said, let me come back to Houston.
See, now we know I'm lying because there's a lockout and nobody can talk.
Right?
Yeah. But, good weather.
It was, yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was over there, I hate cold. So it was like, I think it was high 50s, like 50s, 60s. No, actually, I'm sorry. At the morning was like high 40s, and then it warm up to maybe sometimes 70, but it'd be run around 60 degrees, and that's just not my kind of weather.
No. So you brought it. I think you brought some of that weather
Back.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, but I took it with me because everybody was telling me like, hey, a few days ago, and I was watching the weather. It was like 70 degrees, 80 degrees the whole time, the whole week there. And then I get there on Friday. It's like, nope, here we go. Armando's here. Let's ruin it for him.
Yeah.
Let's give him a reason to stay in bed and then I get out. Oh,
Well, that's how it works. But we did get some rain this weekend, so
not enough to stop the games though.
no.
What's up, Bronte? What's up, Jordan, Sergio? We got Stuart. What is it? Intimate date night for Mondo and Cody, man. That's Stuart.
That's it. See, our TV's not going, so it might appear darker.
Then it should be, right?
It's a little scary.
Yeah, I definitely do think we need like a little clock, a little countdown so people know what's going on. So, what's up, Jordan? Appreciate you guys standing by. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm glad there was no rainouts. I'm glad people were able to play their baseball and not have to, worry about the rainouts.
Well, yeah, that's the last thing you need after delayed season. Hey, we're gonna wait again, right? You're gonna get pushed back again to play the championship game.
Right.
Speaking of that, we are down to 2 now.
Down to 2, man. Down to 2.
Well, as far as HBA is concerned.
Yeah. What's up, Jimmy?
Jimmy.
What's up, Anthony? Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling Jimmy Shot Caller.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He ruined it. But did I tell you this? Did I tell you the story that he ruined it for me?
I don't think so.
So I'm watching the game, right?
Because he hit a home run after you, and it was all about him.
No, because I was ready to post the score, and it's bottom of the ninth. They're down 3.
Yeah.
And
But he's coming up.
I didn't think he was gonna do anything, and
Okay.
and so I already had it. What was the score? 19 to 3, right? Had it 19 to 3, and so I'm ready. I got my graphic ready to post it, let everybody know what the result was. And then, of course, Jimmy has to ruin it for me and hit a home run, 2-run shot, and make it 19-6 or 19-5. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that ruined it for me. But I know you were there. What happened when you were there?
Well, he indeed called a shot. Hey, I'm going to hit one. And he asked me if I had a sweater because I was going to feel the wind. And I certainly did because I needed a hoodie after that. He hit the crap out of it.
He did.
Yeah.
And what's crazy because I was watching on Stadium Cast, I could see that he hit the crap out of that ball. Like,
Yeah.
I was amazed. And then when I talked to him, I think a couple days ago, he confirmed. He's like, dude, yeah, I hit the shit out of that fucking ball. And there was actually a couple people commenting when I posted up the home runs today. That he's like, yeah, man, that was a fucking moonshot. Like, that was gone. Like, I mean, it was out. It was a no doubter. If there was ever no doubter, that was a no doubter.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like hardly any loft. It was just boom,
Yeah.
line drive out.
Yeah, I saw that right on TV. I'm like, man, this guy is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, at that point in the game, it's like small victories. What can I do to try and stay above this loss that we have right now? Quality at bats, right? You never give up. Miracle, whatever. You may not come back, but you gotta keep your mind in it and try to do the best you can. And boy, that's what he did. Because you can feel good about that, right? You
Yeah.
can lose a game, but if you feel good about an at bat or maybe a play in the field, you're gonna take that with you, and it's gonna carry over.
I think so, man. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you're like, getting blown out the way they get blown out, the least you could do is say, "Hey, I did well. I did my part." You obviously want your team to win, but
Yeah. So what are you saying? I did my part. What did you all do? Is that where you're going with that?
Jimmy can say that. I can't say that. I hit the home run. What are you guys doing over here? I hit almost half the score here, dude. But it was definitely a shot, and not the game again. You know me, I don't like blowouts. Obviously, we got what's up, Bo? We got Jose here. Obviously, he loved it. He loved the
Well, yeah,
blowout.
pedal to the metal for him.
Yeah, so
But it didn't start that way. I mean, well, I guess we can go ahead and talk about it, huh?
yeah,
Because we don't have much to talk about. But it was up until the fifth inning. It was a really good tight game. I think they were tied 3-3, and actually the Padres jumped out ahead. They got 3 runs right then and there, and it was looking good for them. They were holding them.
yeah.
But then in the fifth inning, they started hitting Jimmy a little bit, and they had a big inning, I think, in the fifth and the sixth, and then from there, just kind of downhill.
Yeah, I saw there was like 2 innings,
Yeah.
like kind of like you said, fifth, sixth, or sixth or seventh or something like that, where it was just big and it just
Yeah.
exploded.
And part of that, it turns into a mental game,
Yeah.
right? Because now you start thinking about, okay, we're in this huge hole. How are we going to get out of this, right? And that's what you're focused on. And then they kind of kick the ball around a little bit. So when a team's scoring that many runs and you're giving them chances to get on base and doing them favors, it's never going to end well.
Well, then I also heard that there was only 8 players to begin with at the start of the game on the Padres side.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there was only 8 players, and that's what Pete said here. And I think even Jimmy said that, I think, when I talked to him. But 8 players, like you said, it's a mental thing now, right? Now you're like, hey man, we're here in this playoff game. The whole reason we play the whole year is to get to this point, and not everybody
Yeah.
makes the game, and it sucks. It's demoralizing, I think.
Yeah. Well, the regular season doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't
All you got
matter.
to do is win the playoff game.
That's it, dude.
You go 10-1 or undefeated. Doesn't matter if you can't win a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean that's where it
That's
matters.
where everybody needs to show up. Yeah.
That's what I say, man, and I know with family schedules and work and different things, but
Delayed season.
delayed season, right? Maybe you had a planned vacation and stuff like that. So, but if you're gonna if you were sitting at home at home doing nothing, that's effed up, man, because you're letting your team down. It's a team sport, and then definitely when you show up with not enough players, or just enough players, it's a mental game. It's demoralizing.
I'm going to say that didn't happen. Surely no one's sitting at home doing nothing when they could be at the game.
Benefit of the doubt, right? You're gonna give them
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt.
Sure. Why not?
So, what's up, Eddie? Yeah, I mean, I think, I just hope not. I just hope not. But I think they ended up eventually getting 9. That's probably why, depending when you got there or if you were there. the
Well,
whole-
I was there at the beginning. I did not notice. So, but it didn't matter because they didn't need that ninth player because they held them to zeros up until I think the fourth or fifth inning.
Yeah, which is true.
Yeah.
Which is true. But Hector said, was talking about, you only need 8 players. If you got a good hitter, if you got good hitters and a good pitcher, which is true, which I agree. What sucks is I've always been on the bad side of the 8, where we hate and we lose with 8. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, the other team has 8 and we lose.
Yes.
Like,
Hit the ball where there's not a guy. Okay, I'll try that. It's not that easy. If that's the case, hey, let me hit it over the fence every time. But
exactly.
You still got to know how to play the game.
You do,
Yeah.
you gotta know how to place the ball, and it's just it's statistics, right? That's why statistics so big with MLB is that statistically, this is where you should put your players, and this is where they're probably gonna hit. I mean, that's why sometimes people play the gaps. I've seen players where they your immediate thought is, hey, I'm gonna play my outfield in the gaps, but then sometimes nobody hits in the gaps. Everybody hits to the actual where the actual positions are. So then I've seen where they've shifted everybody just left and center.
Yeah.
If you're lefty, if you're righty, they just put you left and center. If you're righty, they just go center and right and play you straight up,
Yeah.
and it works out. But I've just never been on the good end of that 8. So.
Some teams you can do that too, but the Cyclones, they're a good hitting team.
Oh, yeah.
And they were hitting the ball. you know. So
Yeah.
they can go to all fields,
Right, right,
and
right.
they were doing that. They could even go over the fence, and they had a home run. I think it was one of the Lecomte's.
Yep, Chris.
Yep, yep.
Which I mistakenly tagged as what's his name? Horatio. Man, I just spaced on it.
Korea.
Yeah, Horatio Correa. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked like him. And what happened was when Jose sent me the video, he also mentioned something about Horatio, and I just confused it. And Chris came back real quick. Hey man, you tagged the wrong guy. Now he was polite about it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he definitely corrected me. He's like, "Hey man, that's the wrong guy." I said, "My bad, dude." And I had to delete it, start the video over again, and repost it. But
Well, to your defense, he can hit the ball too, and I think he had
what's up, Victor?
a long double in the game.
Who did
So,
Horatio?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and he's the one that generally when you hear home runs on there that would be him. So I think that might have been the first one for Chris. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think that might have been his first home run of the season. So it just wasn't used to seeing him hit it. But it was a shot. I mean, it was a shot, and he hit it, and congratulations to him, and congratulations to Jose, man, for getting that W. Unfortunately, the Padres came up short. They had a good season. I didn't think
great
they were.
season.
Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna go that far though, but
Yeah.
they did. So congratulations to them, man.
Yeah. We can shout out X. He had himself a triple.
Did he a
Yeah.
legit triple?
It was legit.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right field, I guess.
Um, no, I think it was deep left center.
Really?
Yeah, it could have been a
Wow.
misplay. I don't. It wasn't an error. Maybe a
Okay.
misplay, but no, he hit it well. He got there. He was motoring.
Yeah. Well, if anybody can believe hit a triple is Xavier.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody's gonna say, hey, no, that didn't work out. I mean, he's a great runner. He's fast, and so it's just it's one of those things where if you misjudge it by a little bit, he's gonna eat you up.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you got Eric and you got Armand, those type of guys. Like, you miss one step and it's like another 90 feet you just
yeah.
gave
It's
them.
another base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. So
But they were hitting the ball. So yeah, Correa, he had a double. Isaac Rivera had a double. Mario, he had two doubles. He was hitting
really,
the ball.
man,
Yeah, yeah.
Mario can hit, man.
Well, yeah, he can go the other way.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Mhm.
We've seen that.
Yeah,
We definitely seen that, man.
for sure. 17 hits.
Who pitched for the Cyclones?
Um, Christopher
Okay.
Macias, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. I think he played for the 45s
He
a couple
did, man.
seasons
I was
ago.
trying to pick him up, man.
Yeah.
He's a good ball player. I used to play
Yeah.
with him
Yeah.
in the Mexican league, so he's definitely a good ball player. So I definitely it's a good pickup there, and good hitter. He has a good attitude, and that's definitely a good pickup. I didn't realize that he pitched the in that game. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. He had 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Wow,
Yeah. No, he was doing his thing.
man, that's awesome. Who did the Padres? Well, I think Jimmy pitched. I think.
Yeah,
Right?
Jimmy started. Jimmy went to the 5th inning, and he was doing well. But on a good team, second, third time around, you start to see it. You start to make the adjustments. And some of those guys have seen him before in different leagues. Jimmy's no stranger.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like what I've always said, right? When you got a good offensive team like the Cyclones. I mean, there's other teams, not just Cyclones, but let's just say the Hot Shots, different teams, right?
Any playoff team for that matter.
Yeah, let's say
Yeah,
let's just say any
yeah.
playoff team that once they see your pitcher the second or third time, they're gonna make those adjustments, and
Yeah.
if you're not, if you don't make those adjustments yourself, whether you as a pitcher make the adjustments, you and the catcher and the pitcher make the adjustments, or move switch out the pitcher to a different pitcher. They're gonna make you pay, man, and it's a gamble because I've seen it go both ways, right? You switch the pitcher, and it's like, well, you were hitting the first one, now the second one, all of a sudden you're teeing them up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a gamble. You never know.
And since we don't have a guest, if anybody wants to call in and talk about the game, please, I encourage you to do so.
Yeah, we definitely.
Because there was a little bit of what playoff game does not have drama, right?
Oh,
What
there was some drama there.
it's just a small
Just
amount.
a small amount.
Yeah, if Jimmy wants to call and talk about it, you're more than welcome to.
I also got Dalton, who's gonna that's gonna wants to talk in a little later. Once we get into the coastal, a little later after this, when we get into the coastal classic, he's gonna call in and talk some stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, if anyone wants to call in, just you know the number, or at least I think you know the number. Uh, but if not, I'll post it up. But it looked like it looked like a good game, like you said, up the first few innings, and then it just got blown out. And it's error. I'm assuming it's errors, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, booting the ball, throwing the ball around, probably throwing it when you shouldn't, and it just you tack on runs that way, and then
Yeah.
you
It
just
just keeps going, right?
yeah,
It's
it's a
momentum.
cycle, right? And then at that point, you're merely beating yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, they were hitting the ball, but had they not made those mistakes, it could have been a different game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's mistakes will eat you, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
whoever makes the less mistakes, and then you gotta capitalize, because I've seen people make mistakes and then you don't capitalize on it, right?
yeah,
You get a guy up to third, and then off of pass balls or throwing errors, and then he just stays right there.
yeah.
Or you load up the bases with errors, and then he stays right there. Let's see who we got
Call
right here.
from.
Hey,
I think that's
To
Jimmy.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
Jimmy. Is Jimmy?
yeah, what's up, dog?
What's up, Jimmy?
Jimmy, how you doing tonight?
Oh, good, man. Just getting off work.
It's late.
Yeah, I know, man. We're building this bridge, so we had to do the pipes that are gonna hold the bridge together. So they go down about 240 feet down. A lot of concrete, so we had to get it done.
Jimmy, I hear that you don't build bridges, you burn bridges. Is that right?
Nah, I don't burn bridges.
No,
that's for
you don't do
sure.
that. You don't rip them down.
Nah, I don't burn bridges. I try to, if I didn't have to knock them down, I'd do it, piece by piece and very gently.
That was a good game. That was, you guys. That was a good game up until the fifth inning. It just seemed like it got out of hand. That fifth and sixth inning, and it's really hard to come back from that mentally. Because you're in a hole. You're thinking, all right, I need to do more than what I should be doing, and it's just a tough thing.
Yeah, I think, it was my fault as a pitcher, as a person that, I pitch, I know how to pitch. I took myself out of the game, not taking nothing away from the Cyclones, because you know what they did, they did get a couple hits on me, and I felt like if I would have made different pitches, just keep my game plan that I had in the first couple innings, then I think everything would have been a lot better. But I started throwing more fastballs when I knew that the curveball was keeping them off balance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's learning lesson. I mean, you live and learn. You pitch games, you learn different things. And you don't always know everything, and everything doesn't always go good for you.
Yeah, that's baseball, and they're a good fastball hitting team. So it's no wonder they took advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, after they got that, those 2 runs to go up 5-3. I mean, I don't know. I felt like maybe I should have stayed in, but then I was thinking to myself, maybe it's time for a change, maybe another arm, so they can see, change it up, like you guys were talking about, maybe change it up. Hopefully it goes good for us, and that's at least what we were hoping, but, unfortunately it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, because they started tagging Yuli too. It looks like he gave up 10 hits to your 7. So yeah, it's like it doesn't matter who he threw up there. They were just on that night.
Yeah, and it's not all his Yuli's fault because we did make a lot of errors.
Yeah.
Behind him, and then with 2 outs too. It gets to a point where as a pitcher you get frustrated, and then now your game plan just go out the door because you're frustrated that your guys behind you are making errors. And nobody wants to make an error, so it's not like they're like, oh, well, whatever, it's just, it happens.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's part of the game.
It's just unfortunate. Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Especially in a playoff game, when you whoever makes the least amount of errors is probably going to win the game. And it's just unfortunate that it had to happen then.
Yeah. It did suck that we didn't have all our guys there, too, but, I mean, you still got to play the game, right?
Yeah, the game goes on.
So,
but I know that home run, I know that must have felt good. It's like when you're down that many, you're just thinking, I got to do something, just try to lift some kind of spirit.
Oh, yeah, when I went up to bat, after I told you I was going to just, swing, I was going to swing hard and you were going to feel the wind.
Yeah, and I went and bought a hoodie after that because that was pretty chilly.
I seen the goosebumps on you, but I went to the umpire and I told him because, I try to keep high, I know I was upset we were losing, but when you're losing by so much, you can't let it get to you. You should have to still get out there and play, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I told the umpire, I was like, you know what, I'm going to King Griffey this hoe. And the catcher was there, and then the umpire said, which one are you going to do? You going to do the old Griffey or you going to do the young Griffey? I was like, well, shit, right now I feel like the old Griffey, but I'm going to try for the young, right?
Yeah.
So, I swing for the fence, 2 strikes comes, and then I hear on the dugout saying, hey, he's trying to take you deep. And I was. And next pitch, smashed it, and I told you I was going to go Griffey. The umpire's all like, yeah, you're right. And the catcher was like, oh, damn, like you couldn't believe I hit it that hard. It felt good. You know what I mean? But it's just cool. Sometimes when people call these shots, it don't happen. It just happened for me this time.
Yeah. It's just too bad it didn't make much of a difference, If it was like a tie-in shot or the go-ahead run, that would have been something.
Yeah, but
yeah, that would have definitely hyped everybody up.
But let me ask you this: if you're in that position, are you swinging for the fences, or is it the Jimmy I know is always swinging for the fences?
Oh man, I'm always swinging hard.
Yeah, okay.
That's just the way I swing. That's the way I hit. I try not to cheat myself with a swing or like a slow swing or something like that. When you do that, unless it's 2 strikes, I'm in a different position. 2 strikes, I don't want to strike out. I want to put the ball in play, but I still want to swing aggressive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing when I'm swinging the bat. I want to stay balanced. And you know how everybody always tells you, when you swing, stay balanced, hit through the ball, and that's what you want to do as a hitter.
And, let it come to you.
Yeah, and that's what I always try to do as a hitter. Now, it doesn't always work out, but most of my life, that's all I've been doing, is swinging aggressive but balanced. I trained myself to try to be that way, but baseball, you know what I mean? There's good pitchers out there that keep you off balance.
Yeah.
Even the pitchers that are not great can keep you off balance every now and then. You can't hit everybody hard all the time, and and that's just the way it is. And if you can learn to live with that and you know that, then you can become a ball player where the last at bat is not going to kill your next at bat.
Armando, I think we need to swing harder.
Damn, I think it's what it is, man. And build bridges. Apparently, that's what fucking gets you those fucking gains and shit. God damn, man. I've seen this dude swing, and yeah, man. The ball gets crushed. No matter what. I've seen him put it. Remember, we saw him put it in behind Anderson Park in the road.
Oh yeah, on the street.
On the street. That was all his power. So Jimmy can hit.
Yeah.
Well, I try.
And and apparently he does only swings at strikes.
There's a lot of good hitters out there, and you guys are good hitters. Like before I got to know you guys, and I was always trying to strike you out or something like that, and that's my thing. I underestimated a lot of players, and then when you see them, you're like, damn, these guys are good hitters. I was like, I better watch what I do around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we get the time around on second base.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
dude,
true.
nobody saw that coming. Like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's, we're getting beat. Yusuf just mowed us down.
Yeah.
Here comes Jimmy, another guy that's gonna probably fucking mow us down. We're down 8, 9 runs, whatever, 7, 8, 9 runs, whatever. And there's no reason to think that we're gonna do anything with the last few minutes. And here we do. We pull it back, and that's what baseball is sometimes, man. You try to, as a pitcher, sometimes you're like, hey, man, just hit the ball. Let me see what the fuck you do with it. And then, most of the time you'll hit it to somebody's glove, and it's a ground out, pop out. You could even hit it hard into the outfield. As long as somebody catches it, who cares, right? But that day was a couple of errors, and it just kind of multiplied, and it just started to get away from you guys. And I mean, no, that's just baseball, man.
Yeah, I think I needed a bacchiotomy that day.
Oh man.
So, it happens. But I heard you guys talk about the drama, towards the end of the game. Now, I can tell you about this, you know what I mean? And, hey, if Jose's out there, you know what I mean, I already said my piece to you, so you hear that, I'm just telling the story how I seen it. Well, it was like the 7th inning, right? And we're already down by like 15 runs, bro. And I asked the umpire, like, hey, can I come back into the game and pitch? Now, my reasoning for that was like, man, maybe I want to slow down the bleeding, get out of this game already, you know what I mean? Because we're playing to the 9th inning regardless.
Yeah.
So I felt like I could have went back in, maybe shut it down a little bit, get the game going, because it was getting out of hand big time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it was already out of hand, but
Yeah.
Well,
You didn't want to get to you didn't want to get into the 20s, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was already embarrassing as it is, you know what I mean? But we see Jose over there on his phone, and I'm thinking something different. I don't think anything until I know something. You know what I mean? So I'm on deck, and the umpire comes to me and tells me, hey, you're not going to be able to pitch because it's in the rules saying that you can't. And then I just said, well, I just asked you guys. He said, yeah, you could. And it was like, no, well, they said, unfortunately or something, it's in the rule books. You can't you can't pitch after you've come out, even if you stayed in the game. And then I got upset. Now, that was wrong of me to get upset because, rules are rules. Yeah, I get it. But to me, in my mind, I was like, man, you're up 15. Like, what's the problem? Like, I'm trying to get this game going. I was like, what, 15? Why do you care if I come back in to pitch? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going to score runs by pitching. You know what I mean? If that was the case, imagine the scores, what would it be? Mm-hmm. Especially like if Yusuf pitched.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But that's how I felt. I felt strong about it. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Why not? Why would you even say it? Even if it's in the rules, so what?
Yeah.
Sometimes you bend the rules. I mean, sometimes you're just like, you know how it is.
Yeah, it's like you're saying. It's almost like you're throwing up a white flag, right? It's like, all right, yeah, I get it now. Let's eat up these last innings, and get out of here. So, was that kind of your approach? You would say?
Yeah, like, okay, let's get this game over because I know my guy was getting tired and it wasn't because, he's not pitching good or nothing. He's just throwing a lot of pitches because of our errors, you know what I mean? We're making errors. Oh, and I'm not saying a couple of us, we were all making errors. It was as a team, you know what I mean? That's the one time you don't want to play as a team, you know what I mean? But we did.
Yeah, he ended up with 101 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of pitches, and he came in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of pitches for just throwing 4 innings, you know what I mean? Well, actually, he didn't throw 4. He threw 3 because he came out in the 9th or in the 8th or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my reasoning for it, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, and I was yelling across the field, and the umpire was trying to calm it down. But sometimes when I get upset, I talk, bro. I get mad, and it's hard to control myself. But most of the time, I can control myself. I'm a calm guy, you know what I mean? Anybody who knows me knows that's how, I'm calm. I don't really trip about stuff. but that kind of fired me off. You know what I mean? I was upset. Like, because if it was me and I was on the other side, I'm like, all right, let him in. I don't care. You know, go ahead. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still got to hit the ball.
Right.
You still got to score runs, and then you got to score more than 15 runs.
Yeah.
How many times has that ever happened?
Yeah. Have you
You know
guys
what I mean?
scored 15 runs in a game all season?
I mean, not in like 4 innings.
Well, yeah, true.
and then especially towards the end of the game, you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
It's, I mean,
And it's not like they're going up there
that's just my thing.
throwing BP either.
Well,
Yeah,
but
so,
here's
I mean,
but here's the thing though too, Jimmy. Like I 100% agree where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, like the rules are the rules, and here's the thing, you'd hate. I'm gonna tell you like okay, like that game that you Cody and I were just talking about. Like we had 2 minutes for that game. Was it It was a playoff game, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, the first one.
Right, it was a playoff game, right?
Right.
So it was 2 minutes to you guys were blowing us out, and we scored how many runs? 8.
I think it was 7 or 8.
7 or 8, right? So, weird shit happens in the
one
men's,
inning.
In one inning. In one
yeah.
inning, weird shit happens, and we were about to call a game. We had 2 minutes left. We're like, nah, fuck it. We're already getting our ass beat. Let's just go. But we decided to play, and then the tables just turned. I mean, it was that close, and so, I understand from Jose's standpoint that, hey man, like you hate to just fucking give momentum or something just changes and we can't keep tacking on the runs, because to me in men's league anything can happen. I mean, I've been in Obrera, we put up 15 runs before. I don't know if in 1 inning, but maybe 1 inning, but I know it can happen, and I know weird shit has happened, and I know that like for instance, actually remember you were there, the Thunder game and the Panthers game. Panthers only had 8. You guys let them have Ralph. And luckily, Ralph didn't do much, but it allowed everybody to stay in their positions and not have to play gaps or figure out where they're going to play. And that game was close, man. And that decision could have cost. Carlos was being a good sportsmanship by saying, hey, man, go ahead. I don't want to beat you with 8. Go ahead, get a 9. But that decision could have bit him in the ass by giving that the 9th player. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of tossed up. I get what you're saying, but I just feel like, in a sense, I think that was the right thing from Jose to say something, because it's not, it's in the rules.
Right. So because it's a playoff game, right?
It's a playoff game.
These games matter.
These games matter.
And I know he didn't want to be in a position where, let's say you guys did end up tying it, right? And so now he's in a position to pull that card. Hey, well, I'm sorry that even if you did come back and win, you're not going to win because you came back into the game, you broke a rule. Or is it, if he allowed that to happen, does that stand as, okay, well, that was a coach's agreement, and you can't protest this game because I allowed him to come back into the game?
Which I would assume.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I get that part, and that's why after the game I went to him. I said, hey, don't take it personal. It was just me getting hot, and I apologized to the man. You know what I mean? Because I'm a man about mine, and if I was wrong, I was wrong, and I told him that. You know what I mean? The funny thing is I pulled up on them, and when I got out the truck, everybody was looking at me like I had a gun, and I was going to do something. I was like, hey, dude, chill out. I'm good, bro. But we were cool. I was cool about it, you know what I mean? I was wrong, and I admitted that I was wrong, and I get it. Rules are rules, and you know what I mean? And you guys are right. It could have probably happened. The momentum could have changed. It's baseball. I mean,
yeah.
You remember back in the 90s where the Indians came back from a 13 deficit in 2 innings. I mean, I remember that, and I get it. It could have happened, and he could have probably pulled that card after, or maybe it could have been a coach's decision like Cody was saying.
Yeah.
So I did apologize for it to him, you know what I mean? And then I told him, hey, my bad. Didn't mean to blow up like that, in so many words that I put in. I just told him, not to take it personal. I apologized and stuff, and I wished them good luck on the championship game.
And I'm sure that frustration comes from the score, right?
For sure.
Mean, you're not going into a game expecting to be down, 17 or whatever, and that's the last thing you want to happen in a playoff game. So, yeah.
I can understand your frustration.
I didn't want that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of us went home drink a couple beers, and try to forget it and maybe move on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so hopefully.
Well, that's the thing about baseball.
Hopefully,
generally, there's another game coming, but when it's a playoff, it maybe not.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's why when I talked to Mondo, I was like, man, Padres don't make it. You know, if we decide that we're not going to make it, or you know, who sees what happens? You know what I mean? That I was probably going to join the Pirates.
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
If you have room for me, you know what I mean? I don't know.
We got room for Jimmy.
I mean, I was thinking about going to the tryout, see if anybody would pick me up. You know what I mean? At least last round or something. You know what I mean? Just anything, you know?
Oh, dude, that'd be funny if we trolled him, right? Nobody picked him up, like everybody just left him on the side over there. Like nobody would do it, but that'd be fucking funny.
Yeah, like just don't pick that guy up. He sucks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to go, you can go, but you just gotta go swing and miss like 5 feet and just don't pitch, and then we'll get you on the lab.
And let my back go.
Yeah.
Let my back go like last year's Coastal video.
That's it. Maybe fall down a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, that's the video that Mondo fucking posted. I don't know if it was Mondo posted my Southwest commercial.
I believe it.
Yeah, I keep playing that shit over and over. It's funny to me, bro.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah,
it's definitely good, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling in, bro.
No problem, man.
We'll see you at the Coastal Classic, and just stay on because we're gonna be talking about the Classic here in a little bit. So, if you want to call in again,
I'm definitely gonna stay on.
Yeah, if you want to call in a little bit.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Appreciate
Later.
you guys, man.
Right.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye. Yeah, man. So I mean, it's good to hear from his. I'm glad there was no hard feelings between with Jose and Jimmy, and it's good that he met.
Yeah.
No, it's heat of the moment, and I definitely understand from Jimmy's standpoint. Like, come on, man, I'm getting blasted. Let me do this.
Yeah,
but
let's get this game over with.
Let's get this going over with. But you just don't want to ever.
Like we said, I'm sure you can appreciate that, but at the same time, there's something in your mind thinking, well, if I allow this and I end up losing, I can't live with that.
Yeah, you can't, dude. You just like, dude, I just gave these guys.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. But I could see both sides of it. But so what was the next game, man?
So there was another game, and that was more of a close game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
What a playoff game should be, right?
Right. Redbirds over the Ironbirds, 5-6. Battle of the Birds is what it was.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. I watched it. I was not there, but I watched it on our demand little thing here. Stadium cast. Decent quality.
Good stuff, right?
Good stuff. It was a good game, back and forth, a couple times. Like, oh, who's gonna take it? For a while, it looked like the Ironbirds had it.
Yeah.
Can't never rule out the Redbirds. Here they come. Put up a couple runs, and then they get the lead. I think in the 8th inning, and they held it.
Yeah, I mean, and I caught the I think the 7th, 8th, 9th inning. I think is what I caught. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of remember like towards the end when they started getting people on bases, there was a couple of walks and then a couple of pass balls that kind of led up to some of the runs coming in for the Redbirds.
Yeah, I believe that was the 7th inning. Yeah, I think they scored 3 in the 7th and then 1 in the 8th. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean that a couple. I don't remember if I saw any errors, but I know there was some pass balls, and it just kind of once you make that error, it just kind of flows. You know what I mean? And so.
Well, the Redbirds, they actually have more errors than the Ironbirds. At least that's what the box score says.
Really?
Yeah, 5 for the Redbirds and 3 for the Ironbirds. But there was a home run, so we're gonna shout him out. CJ got a hold of one off of Tim, no less.
Yeah, that I had to rewatch that. Like, hey, is that Tim, man? Like, I mean, you don't see too much, so definitely that wasn't a cheap home run. That was off of MVP, multi-year MVP pitcher there. Tim, and there's not too many people that could say they hit home run off of Tim. So shout out to Choice for that one. I mean, it was dead center too, man. So I mean, it was a shot. So good for him. Just it sucks that it just wasn't enough to get them the W.
Yeah, if there was another guy on base or something,
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know, man. It just it's one of those things where when you place your hits, right? At what point, right? Is there people on base when you get those hits? And sometimes you get the hits when there's nobody on base.
Yeah.
When there's people on base, you don't get the hits, and then you don't get the score. So it's just and by one run, man. I mean, you start to reanalyze the game. Like, oh, if I'd have done this, if I'd have done that, maybe would have done this, and maybe would have done that. But that's the thing with the Redbirds, man. They don't stop fighting, man. I mean, we played them competitively for many seasons now, and you just. No,
you gotta play it to the end.
You gotta play to the end. No,
I mean, they walked it off on us, right?
Yeah.
In that playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, no lead is safe, man. With them, I mean, it's just they're gonna keep battling, and they're gonna figure out a way to get on base and move runs over, and the momentum just goes with them, And so, good job to them, man. I mean, now they're gonna defend their title, right? They were last year. No.
No.
I'm sorry.
So, the Pelicans won last season. But the Cyclones are going back to the championship game.
Right. That's what I meant to say. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Tim, he did his thing as always, but he did give up some hits. They got him for 11 hits, so that they were hitting the ball. They were putting the ball in play. But even though he's going to give up hits, he's going to have his strikeouts. He had 10 Ks.
Wow.
And you know how many walks?
How many walks?
0.
Wow.
Yeah. 120 pitches. That sounds like a regular game for him.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, that's one thing I do like about Tim, man. Tim's a warrior, man. I mean, he's gonna keep going and keep doing his thing, man. He's gonna leave it all in the field, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, good job to him. I really respect him for that.
And Sean, he went the distance for the Ironbirds. He gave 10 hits. So the Ironbirds out-hit the Redbirds.
Say that again? The Ironbirds out-hit the Redbirds, huh?
Mm-hmm. 10 hits to 11.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple crucial. I know they posted a video about. I think Choice posted a video about the some kind of play at home, and I didn't quite understand what that was, other than whether they're trying to figure out if they're safe or not. But that might be one of those ones where, you're kind of going, hey, if we would have got that run in, it's a different ball game. Which
I was watching that, and that was it was pretty interesting. I just assumed he was going to call him safe, just by watching it. And what it was, there was a guy at second and third. Okay, it was a throw down to second because the guy was leading off. Didn't get the guy. But as soon as the ball was thrown, runner goes home. Shortstop turns around, throws it home. The throw was a little high, but he caught it and brought it down. And it looked like his foot got in there, but umpire called him out.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was inning ending.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough when you got those type of plays, man. I mean, we said, we've been saying it ever since we had the show. Is like, it's just tough to make a call. But like you said you saw it and you thought it was safe just off the first look, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes they get it wrong. They're not perfect, but
that camera, decent camera, but when just a dust mound creates whenever you slide into that home plate, right? And so it's really hard to see definitively if he's out or safe.
It is. I mean, because we saw that one play when we had Bobby on.
Yeah.
And
breaking it down.
We broke it down.
And you really can't tell.
You can't tell. Yeah. And then coincidentally, it was Todd, right? Or
yes.
Todd, right?
It was Todd.
Todd was sliding in, and I don't know. I'm sure Todd remembers that play, but when we were replaying it, Todd with his right hand kind of created a dust cloud, that interfered with a better view of the play. I mean, it was a bang play, but it didn't help that his right hand dragged and created a dust.
Yeah.
Created dust. So it's tough, man. And he obviously wasn't doing it on purpose, but it just
that's what happens, especially at that field, and that's what these umpires have to deal with. That's why a lot of times you're looking at the ball. Does the ball beat him, right? Because you can't get in there and see, oh, well, no, I think he got a couple fingers on it before the tag, and
Yeah.
it's not going to happen in this league.
Yeah, it's not, man. I mean, it was tough. Us be watching it.
Yeah,
you know?
but first look, like I said, I thought he got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Just because he had a long way to bring the tag after he caught it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a high, not high throws, probably chest high, and then, he brought it down, and it just, to him, it looked like he was out, and I understand it. Like I said, sometimes, even I've had it where I've even slid into the, like, with your feet or your hand into the foot of the opponent, opposing player, and it blocks the plate, right? So it's like, whether they did it on purpose or not doesn't matter. I never touched the plate.
Got it. Right.
Never got
and
it.
Who knows? That could have been what happened. I mean, he had the closest look.
Yeah.
And we don't know.
We don't know. So I mean, it was, but those are the plays, man. I mean, and you have to play around those things. It was a tight score. What was it?
It was 6-5.
Yeah, 6-5.
Yeah.
So it's
all the way to the 8th inning.
And that's the kind of game you want.
Yeah.
And it sucks that they weren't able to finish it off, but they gave them a fight, and now it's gonna be, we got Cyclones versus the Redbirds, and that's gonna be next week, right?
Yeah.
The 11th.
Next Saturday at 2
p.m. Memorial Ashford. So either tune in.
I guess we couldn't get Northland, huh?
So that's what.
It's the championship game, right? Wouldn't you think, hey, let's play on this nice field that we often use?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was weird because I think more of the important games are played on Northland Christian, but maybe it was occupied that day or something. But we'll see. I mean, we've had good playoff games too there at Memorial Ashford, and so
not to take anything away, no.
Yeah. But
except for the dust cloud at home.
Don't create any dust clouds, man.
Yeah.
But I know that
I'm sure it's going to be watered down nicely.
I was just I'm sure Josh Booth is going to be out there making sure that that's the excellent optimal playing field. So shout out to him for helping taking care of the field out there. So I definitely know, because he's going to be playing that day. Mm-hmm. He's going to make sure he's going to know where the divots are, where, hey, man, don't let, watch the ball's going to bounce here.
That's it. And he's going to bunt it right into that spot and going to get on.
Yeah.
Be 4 for 4.
Jose, so you're going to have to keep an eye on him for that, Stewart says Northland closes on November 30th until spring.
Mm.
Yeah, so it just, that makes sense. That makes sense. But, that's the kind of, those are two good teams, Cyclones and Redbirds, and I think it's going to be an awesome game, and it's going to be, exciting to watch, man. I mean, we're definitely going to have to go out there and go watch it, for sure. Hopefully it's a nice day, man. I don't want it to be cold. I don't want to have to wear a sweater like you said.
Better bring your rule books, because, might have to go to it a few times in that game, right?
Can you imagine between Stewart and Jose, the rule books are going to come out?
Actually, they probably don't even need the rule book, because they're just going to start citing. No, I can't do that.
No, paragraph 2, right. Line 3, it says this. But, at the end of the day, man.
Article 27.
Article 27 of the Rule of Conduct. But,
the league code.
Get it right? It's you got to respect the rules. That's why we have them, and they're in there in place for a reason. And so, you can't, you can't argue with it. It is, the rules are the rules. What is it? Jay-Z says, better bring your rule books. He's laughing because we said that. Oh man. But it's I think it's going to be an exciting game. This is Stewart's second championship of this season. So he got the Friday night one, and now he has this one. Well, actually, it's the third one, because we actually went to the Sunday HBA. We went to the championship. We gave the Argos their fourth championship in a row, but we didn't give it to them. They earned it, and so yes, it'll be his third one. So maybe he may be 2 for 3. I mean, I'm sure Jose's not gonna want him to get go 2 for 3 on championship games, but
he would love to spoil it.
He would, wouldn't
he? Yeah.
And Jose's been there a few times, and has he been there? Oh, wait, or he's fallen short. No, he was there last year. You said, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Last year.
Yes.
And then
there was the doubleheader they lost.
That's right. Yeah,
they're going 2 seasons in a row now. And I say the rule book thing with respect, because those guys, they know how to play, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Jose, he's 2 for 2 with catching guys that
Yeah.
are not supposed to be there, right?
Disqualified 2
You
teams,
know,
man.
yeah. Sorry, but you can't go back in. I would love for you to, but this is a playoff game, and you can't go back in and pitch. And we all know Stewart. He's he's good at citing regulation.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I think I think one season
I think he wrote the book, right?
he might see his initials in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. But I think it's I think that he one of our first seasons he got the River Dogs pitcher. I don't know. You want to call it disqualified, or what do you want to call
Technicality?
technicality? Yeah, for wearing the wrong jersey. So, so it is what it is, man. So definitely the rule book will be challenged that day. So, but it is what it is. That's what Stewart says. Milton School of Management rule books too, specifically around the fan ejections. Yes. I think he's the only guy I know that got kicked out of a game that he had no business being in.
Yeah, and he had to take his partner with him, right? I think she got kicked out too.
Who?
Corey? We were talking about his ejection.
Yes, and then who else did he take with him?
He got ejected from the seats.
Correct.
Right, and I thought his girlfriend was
Ejected too?
gone too. Yeah.
No,
Is
you
that
talking
not
about?
accurate?
No, I think Sergio and his girlfriend got kicked
okay,
out.
okay.
Which
Well, I know somebody and their girlfriend were gone.
I don't remember his girlfriend getting kicked out, but I do remember with Sergio.
Okay.
With
Well, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, he got kicked out. So, but yeah, I mean it is what it is. So, okay, so we talked about the standings. We already talked about next week the NABA Saturday championship game, and now we get into Coastal Classic, man.
We got some things to discuss for the Coastal Classic.
We do, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's been hot on the streets right now, man.
Is it?
Oh man,
We got new developments.
oh man. So I think they had 6 teams or 16.
Is this the streets of social media?
The streets of social media,
Okay.
man. I mean, it's every day. It's something that I ain't gonna lie. It's pretty entertaining. The best baseball in Houston page. It's just been, blowing up.
Bombarded with Coastal Classic talks. Huh?
Like I forgot who said it, but somebody's like, "Hey, there's more chatter in that Facebook page than there is in the actual Coastal Classic Facebook page." That's how popping it's been with that stuff, and rightfully so in the sense of they went from I think it was six teams or 8 teams to now there's 10 teams.
Okay.
So it's
Everybody want to get in on it.
It is. Everybody wants to get in on it, and I don't blame them. I mean, I'm for some stupid reason I'm getting hyped up, man. I'm like, I'm like, damn, this is gonna be good. I mean, to see some of the names that are being thrown out,
Yeah.
especially adding a Team USA, I think, and it's just crazy. I'll go down the 10 teams real quick. Yeah, let me see here. Let me get my phone out here real quick. But you got and there, of course there's controversy on that. With the amount of teams that were there, but in what they call Class Pool A, you got Puerto Rico, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and Nicaragua.
Hey, good job.
Dude, I was like concentrating. I was like, I was really concentrating on that one. Oh man. Okay, second division class, Pool B, we got Cuba, USA, Mexico North, Cuba South, and USA South. So USA has 2 teams, Mexico has 2 teams, and Cuba has 2 teams.
Okay. So talk to me about these. Are 2 different divisions, 2 different pools?
2 different pools.
So they're not all playing each other?
My assumption is that the winner from Pool A, the winner of that will play Pool B. What I'm and guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. I can't wait for tomorrow's Novela Classic. I agree, Jose. But correct me if I'm wrong. But I kind of like the format they're doing this year. And what they're gonna do is gonna be 3 days, right? It's gonna be from January 8th, January 7th, 8th, and 9th. And what they're doing is they're having the championship game on the 9th. So instead of like last Classic where whoever had the best record won the classic, they're saying, okay, now they're going to battle it out, and now there's going to be a championship game.
I think that's a smart move.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. I like that. I like that format. I think it's going to work out well. Maybe tough for some people that won't be able to. Now I don't. I got to look at the dates, but I think that.
It creates a hype, like, oh, this team, they dominated this division. Oh, well, this team dominated this division. Okay, let's put them together.
Yeah, because they said 7th, 8th, and 9th. So if that's correct, that's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And for some reason, I think they're going to play it on the 15th, is what I remember. Like, I think there's going to be 3 days, and then the 4th day is a championship. Somebody correct me on that. But that's what I was understanding. But, it's it's getting hyped up. And a lot of feelings are getting hurt. Because...
So when you say hype, you're talking about trash talking, because, I mean, that's the only time feelings get hurt, right? When you badmouth somebody else and trash talk.
Well, so think about how many players are in Houston, right? All the leagues, all the divisions.
Okay.
And then you got 10 teams with about 20 plus roster. I think I think the max is 25-man roster. What does that leave you with?
Okay. All right.
Right? There's somebody that's left out. Somebody who feels that they should be on a certain team and is not on a certain team, right?
So they should have tryouts. Is that what you're saying?
I think that there should have been something like that to a certain degree. My personal feeling is that I hope that, and I think they did, but I think all the teams used their common sense and not with their heart, right?
Right.
And what I mean by that is like, oh, just because you're my buddy, I'm not going to put you on the team, right? I need the best of the best, because I mean they're bringing in. I think Mexico North is bringing in a lot of has a lot of ball players that have professional Mexico experience.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a professional athletes there.
Mixture. Yeah.
Mixture. So everybody's trying to be there, and it's kind of like what I said before. Sometimes you're the big fish in a small pond, right? So you might be the best in your division, might be the best in your league, maybe on your team, but when you get there, it's a whole nother ball game. And no disrespect to nobody, but that's what's gonna happen. Is like it's people are gonna get their feelings hurt. I mean, there's gonna be people like, hey, why didn't I get invited? And I understand, because we all competitive men. We're all competitive, right? We think we're the best. Whatever it is we do, and we feel like, hey, I should have been on that team. Why did you? You start nitpicking. Hey, why is that dude on the team?
Yeah.
Well, I could have done that.
Well, that's the beauty of sitting in the stands. You can criticize everything. Like, oh shit, I could have done that.
That's gonna be you. Hey, that's gonna be you.
Right.
I could have struck out, man. Shit, I could have done that too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun watching from the stand. It's gonna be exciting. I think.
Yeah, because we can bundle up. Because I'm sure it's gonna be cold.
That's what they're saying.
Beginning of January. It
Yeah,
usually is.
yeah, usually is, man. I hope.
If it's not raining.
Yeah, exactly, man. I just, and that's what we had last classic was. It was supposed to be a 2-day week, Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday it rained out, and so they had to continue with the next game, which messed up a lot of teams, right? Because now their aces that they flew in or came in from out of town had to leave. They didn't only had a hotel for that weekend, and they're not going to drive back for the other game, especially if you're going to be. If you didn't get to make it, right? Like even if you went out, you're like, hey, I don't got the record to continue going or to win, right? Especially when Cuba was dominating last year. So they're going to be the defending champs for this season. I mean this classic. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. So
well, with being a manager, right, of a team. There's politics that surround everything, right? So it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
If you know certain players and you can get these certain players on your team, then, that's the way it's going to be. Even though, I know you said some guys are, not putting their heart into it or whatever. You get the buddy pass, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to happen at some point. And the politics, you just have to deal with that, right?
Yeah. Well, think about this. So now you get past getting on the squad, right? Now you got 25-man roster.
Yeah.
There's only 9 positions on the field.
Yeah. So it cuts down even more.
Even more.
Yeah.
Hey, that's where I feel that people's egos need to get let go once you get on a team. The whole idea is that you want your team to win, and I know that's hard sometimes to swallow your pride or whatever, but at the end of the day, you hope that the coach that you went to go play for makes the right decision and puts the best 9 players out there, the best defense, the best lineup, to give you the best chance to win against whatever team. Because
Yeah, because ultimately that's what it's going to fall on, the manager putting the right guy who's going to get that hit, that particular at bat, who's going to make that catch, in that particular inning.
situation, right? And so it's you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. That's the beautiful thing about baseball, right? A guy could have went 4 for 4, the game before, and then he goes 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 the next game, in the game that counts, right? It just happens. And the guy who's never played all game goes in there to pinch hit or whatever, and then hits it. Like,
you see in the major league sometimes.
You do it. I mean, I saw Sergio do it.
Yeah.
Sergio Mendoza do it in the Hot Shots championship game. I mean, he didn't play. I don't think he played the first game, and he came and played. I don't know how many at bats he had the second game, but maybe 1 or 2, and he made his 1 or 2 at bat count.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot of calls. A lot of questions. A lot of why did he get to play? You should have pulled him out. And I mean, definitely, the Tuesday after this, it's going to be crazy.
So, do you have to have ethnic ties to these certain teams?
So,
because it sounds like they're all based off of countries.
So they are,
for the most part.
So there's like I think they took some of the rules from the classic, the MLB classic, right? You have to have either your parents got to be from that town, or you got to be born from that country. And so what I think, and this is don't shoot me here, but I honestly feel, I mean, Mexico has a stacked team. Cuba, of course, has a stacked team, right? Mm-hmm. But what I'm kind of predicting is that you have the USA, which 25-man roster, you're gonna leave a lot of people on the table. I'm sorry, right? So when you do that, guess who's able to scoop it up? USA, because nine times out of 10, those guys were born here in the United States, right? I mean, even the guys in Mexico who are qualified because their parents lived in or were born in Mexico or Cuba or whatever team, but they didn't make the 25-man roster for that country. Well, guess what? USA has a spot for you if you're that good enough to play. So I honestly think there's so
they have an advantage. Is that what you're saying?
I feel like they have an advantage because they're able to scoop up all kinds of players that were never able to be touched. Either they got left on the table because there was just too many, or they just didn't qualify as one of those countries, and now they can play.
Okay.
So I'm
they pulling birth certificates at this thing?
I'm wondering, dude.
I mean, who's who's looking over the rules and.
I think people are going to get questioned.
Coastal, right? It's a done thing?
It could be. I mean, I don't know if Doug's walking out the, hey, let me see your birth certificate. Everybody submitted. And
I mean, he's in charge, right?
He's in charge, yeah. He's in charge. So it would definitely be interesting how they're going to fact check it or whatever. But I'm sure, again, at the Tuesday after that, there's going to be a lot of talk about, or it's going to blow up in that Best Baseball Houston, that, hey, this guy wasn't really... Cuban, or this guy wasn't really this or wasn't that, and it's gonna be.
We might see some genealogy reports coming.
It's yeah, man.
Well, what's that one?
DNA.
Something I don't know.
Yeah, the DNA test, right?
Yeah.
Genealogy. But there's genealogy1.com or something like that. But there is one that goes through.
Something you and me, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, pull that. Let me see. But and that's what's beautiful about USA. Hey, probably 80%, 90% of those guys are born in USA. So they all, I mean, even the guys on the other team could have qualified to be on the Team USA. So, I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for these managers to make these tough calls because you got all these egos, but all these guys are all ballers. I mean, you're picking the cream of the crop. And hopefully they can leave the egos to the side and do what they got to do. But I know there's going to be a lot of hype about, hey, I should have played, or I should have done this, or we should have done that. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be so hard on those managers, man. Whoever those managers are, like Jose just said, my respect to all managers running a classic team. It's going to be. Look, Lawrence jumped on, man. He must be on break.
Was he working the night shift?
I don't know. I hope he's not Ubering right now and shit. But you know, there's gonna be some good stuff. You know, I think it's gonna be some great baseball. However you slice it up,
Yeah.
you know, we're gonna watch the drama. I think the problem we're gonna have, Cody, is which game to go watch. You know, which game is gonna give us the most, you know, drama or not drama, but just I don't want to see a blowout, right? If I see a
Yeah.
blowout, I'm gonna go to the next field.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but
Maybe we'll set up some cameras.
yeah, right. So we can, you know, so we can watch the games. But it's definitely going to be exciting, and I hope, like, you know, so everybody can keep their egos in check and do it for the team. But you know, at the end of the day, man, baseball the way it's gonna work, man. I mean, you might have an ace that's supposed to come in and he doesn't show up,
Yeah.
or gets denied at the front.
No entrada.
No entrada, señor. You can. Hopefully we don't got Manny sitting out there getting the cards in.
Oh man.
You know, but you know, I'm sure there's gonna be people that you know, they're gonna do what they can to get on a team, and you know, to me, I think that at the end of the day, if you didn't make it this season, I think you need to try harder to put yourself at that level to get it next time. You
Well,
know.
and like I said, it's all about who you know, right? You could overlook someone just because you don't know they're available. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that happens.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about that page is that people were putting their name up there. Hey, I'm ready to play.
Okay.
Right? They were saying, hey, I'm available. I can do this and that. And then there was some teams that were actually, hey, I'm looking for people. Hit me up. You know, like Choice, DM me. Let me know what's going on. And I think, like I said, USA was kind of one of the last teams to get put on there. USA South, and you know, they were able to pick up like whatever was left on, and even like again, what was left on the table was really good. You know, I mean, you're gonna get Tim Jones is supposed to go. You know, you got
Right.
Raul there. I mean, you got Booth. I mean, you got some guys that that we know that are great players, and it's gonna be, you know, good to see them. But you know, you got a lot of hot shots out there. I mean, you got a lot of yard goats. I mean, it's man, it's gonna be just, you know, really. I think it's gonna be really insane, man.
Manny will be at the front, confirmed today by Andrew.
What, can you imagine how this classic is gonna go between if you had you had Manny in the front, right, and then you had Bobby umpiring. He's throwing everybody out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody fucking. What the fuck you say? Get the fuck out. Hey,
Yeah.
what'd you say? Get the fuck
So
out.
if they get past Manny, they're not getting past Bobby. Is that what you're saying?
That's it, man. You know, between them two, they're gonna win the classic. You know what I'm saying?
So we know the teams are any roster announcements, or that's to be determined, or any gossip.
So here's the thing. I was hoping that everybody's roster would be up, but as of right now, I think Mexico and Dominican Republic were the only teams that had the roster up.
Okay.
Definitely maybe on the next show or whatever. Hopefully everybody's roster's up, and then we can talk about it. You know, but there's and I don't think, you know, Team USA is still gathering their stuff together. Jimmy's gonna be on USA South, so it's I think that at that point when everybody has it on, we'll be able to discuss and figure out. Hey, I'm telling you, there's gonna be a lot of people. Hey, what's he doing on there? You know, and I think, you know, Jose got it right too, man. You know, you might have the talent, but maybe you don't have the right attitude, and so there's some people there, I'm sure, got turned away for that. You know, because think about this: if you had a shitty, if you're on the field and you have a shitty attitude and you shit on the other team because they're not on your team, but then the classic comes up and they're managing it or they have a say so in who's gonna play, well, you just shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I hope
It follows you.
It does. But I'm gonna reach out to Dalton, because Dalton wanted to chime in. He wanted to say a couple words, and I think you know, let me see if he sees. What did I say? What, you up? Let me call him up real quick and see if we can get him on the line. I'm sure there's gonna be bets.
You leaning in a certain direction.
Yeah, what up?
What up, Dalton?
Well, how's it going?
Good, man. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Just Just right here, getting into the class.
Shooting the breeze.
Shooting the breeze.
Talking about baseball.
Just off the plate. Yes, sir.
There
If it's just off the plate, don't swing at it.
there you go.
No, man,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
make me mad. Nah, I'm just fucking around.
So what's going on with you, man? What team are you on? I think you're on the USA South, right? If I remember
I'm
right.
with the hot shot.
Well, right,
You
100%.
talking about with the,
Yeah,
the
classic.
I'm
Yeah.
with Team Mexico.
Oh, okay, cool. That's right, Team Mexico. Yeah, okay, sweet, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there was, like I said earlier, there was a lot of hot shots on shoot Team USA and Mexico. I mean, there's just teams everywhere. I mean, he's gonna probably be playing against them.
Playing against his boys.
Yeah, playing against his boys, man.
We have to spread the love when they come to the classic. With the hot shots, get a little bit of spread the love. Everybody go a little bit of everywhere. Make it fair. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, gotta even out the teams a little bit, right? Can't stack them up too much.
I mean, I know, Mondo, you said this in the past, like watching a guy that's on your team that can pitch well, and you're thinking, I wonder how I can do off of him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you never really get that chance. Well, the Classic's a good opportunity for that.
For sure. I mean, I know. I think so. Josh is actually gonna go up against, because Josh, I think, is Josh Wells is on Team USA, so he's gonna be facing Dalton. He's got Joe Lyle, so he's gonna be facing some hot shot pitchers, man.
Yeah.
I don't know where is Ball Trip on any team yet.
I think he might be with USA as well, huh?
Wow. Yeah. See, I mean, I'm telling you, man, and it was like I said, whatever was left on the table. Now, hey, USA picks up, and just obviously, Ball Trip's a good pickup. Great pickup. So it worked out good for them, man. But you said you want to say some words, man. What you want to say?
Yeah, man. I don't like how there's a lot of, I'm going to say crying. There's a lot of complaining going on. It's just about people not get picked up and all that stuff. But people got to understand, there's time. It's just like the major leagues. This is a competitive league. What I mean by that is there are times where you are the best and you may have shown better. But at the end of the day, it's about fitting into an organization. And I'm sure some people can relate to that. No matter if you came from high school going to be a collegiate athlete, you may have shown something better in the showcase or something like that, but they picked the other guy because they saw potential and they understood that guy fits in that system. You know what I mean? So when they established the coaches, that's when, the coaches decided who would fit best for them instead of, buddy on buddy or straight up raw talent. They're going with what they feel like. That'd just be like a team picking up a guy, every guy throws 90, same arm angle, same pitches, same everything. They're all talented, but no, it's the teams that are most dangerous are the ones that have versatile tools. Yeah. And that's what I just don't get as grown men right now. We should understand that completely. There's times where even outside of baseball, when it comes to business, you may be better qualified for that job, but they pick somebody else. It's all about fitting pieces to the puzzle. And I feel like that's what Mexico is understanding right now compared to a lot of people. But then again, I feel like we did a decent amount of, there's quite a few returners compared to other teams as well, I feel like. And then adding more teams, brought sauce into that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Essentially, you're at the mercy of 10 guys, right? 10 managers for 10 teams. And even though you're good, hey, how can he contribute? How can he help me win with my team, right? Maybe he's got enough hitters. Maybe he's got enough of this. How's this guy going to fit on my team? And what one coach sees, another may not. That's just how it goes. That's what I mean. It's like you just fall at their mercy. It's like, well, if I need you and you can make it work, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, and that's what makes it tough, man. I think you're right, man. I mean, people, it's a reality check, right? I mean, that's what when the page started kicking off with the classic, and I was like, there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings out there because I knew like it's very exclusive. It's very I mean, at the time it was I think 6 or 8 teams. And I'm like, okay, that's already going to be super exclusive, especially Team Mexico when there's so many people from that nationality here in Houston. I mean, there's other nationalities, obviously, but there's so many Mexican nationality of that nation here that I'm like, dude, you can't. the 25, you still got a bunch of people still left over on the table on that. And so I knew there was going to be a lot of hurt feelings, and people didn't just need to understand that it it is what it is,
It's a business, man. And not like you just gotta look at life look at it like it's a business. And if you don't like it, shit, you're gonna have plenty of time between here and next classic to show your ass. Obviously, the managers ain't going anywhere. I see the managers in every other league. Show your ass, be better, show the managers or whoever why you deserve to be on the team. As simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I feel like there are some, there's some attitudes around the league, but then there are some that, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Alo, he's a big trash talker, but I respect the guy because he plays and he goes hard from play to play. I definitely feel like he should have been on the team. I'm not gonna lie to you. People don't, but that may be, you know what I'm saying? I ain't with all that, but like I said, Alo can play. Do I think he should be on a team? Most definitely. So when I seen that a while back, I even messaged him. I don't know how this stuff works, but I do feel like you should be on the team. But at the end of the day, I'm not the manager. They may feel like he didn't fit the best or like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because the dude can play. Every time I've seen him, I think he ain't got struck out that much. He hits the ball. He plays well, and that's just like anybody in the league. I ain't gonna lie to you, Mondo, you're a baller. There was times where I felt like when I was playing you, I'm like, okay, I can't leave nothing over the plate. This guy's a fighter. He ain't going down.
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't mean to hit you in the head. I lost the
I know, bro. I know, bro.
Yeah, you just got him thinking. That's all.
It's all good, but
sometimes that effectively wild can help me.
Yeah, for sure.
They're scared because I'm jamming up too far inside, and I get away with the outside.
Bro, dude, when I got hit in the head and then I come up, I think the next at bat, and I think was PJ was up, and PJ hit the guy in front of me almost in the fucking face. Dude, that fucked my head bad, dude. I was like not even comfortable out there. I was like, oh shit, he struck me out. So to be wild can definitely go in the favor of the pitcher for sure. But I appreciate what you said about me, and I think dude, you're right. I think with Alo, I think he plays a good game. I went to go see him at that the you guys' championship game, and it's one of those things where sometimes you rub people the wrong way, man, and it's gonna affect you down the line. You don't want to burn bridges. You want to be competitive and shit like that, but you just got to be careful when you cross the line.
I think another thing is like availability, right? So there may be 10, 15 shortstops that play in all these leagues, right, that are of the same caliber, like the same level of players. Well, guess what? We only have 10 teams, and we can't take them all, right?
Yeah.
So, the spots are limited. Even though there's great players, you just may not get it because there's not enough room.
Yeah.
Even though you're playing the same as the guy who got the spot.
It's definitely tough. I mean, it's definitely an advantage too for the pitchers too. I mean, there's I know Dalton you hit, and so but Dalton may not hit because they got other hitters, right? He might just be a PO only for this classic. It just depends on how it goes. But that'll be up to the managers to decide that. Whether they want their pitchers to hit. But with the 25-man roster, it's going to be tough. To say, hey, I want my pitcher to hit. When they need people to concentrate on pitching.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're right, man. What you said was 100% right. A lot of people are agreeing with what you're saying, man. That people just need to accept for what it is. And another thing I think you threw out there was 100% is, hey, man, you need to ball out for next season so that you have the stats or have to prove that hey, you belong on one of those teams because they're gonna come looking for you.
Yeah. But I will say I do like this competitive edge that's building up to the classic. It's almost like a road to the classic deal. I like it. I'm not going to lie. I really wasn't on that, the best baseball in Houston until this classic. I'm not going to lie. I check it every damn day now. I'm like,
gotcha.
Shit, what's the allegation on the situation today? So
and that's what he wants you to do.
Yeah.
Let's this is a message to everybody. Let's turn that aggression or anger. Let's turn that into energy on the ball field because at the end of the day, it's about respecting the game. It's a beautiful deal to see. That's what I told. It's crazy because I told my people last year. I said I didn't play in front of 20,000 people. I didn't play in front of 12,000. I didn't play in front of some great crowds, great places. But there was nothing more heartwarming than that classic last year. Seeing, because as a Mexican American, as a Latin American, seeing all the cultures come together, especially with a good crowd during COVID. You know what I'm for
Right,
COVID
right.
times.
Yeah.
So just seeing all that, like, embrace that, because this is like, it's really cool to see that. That's what I'm saying. This was like it was a more meaningful experience than any other the experiences that I've had. So we just got to turn that in to playing great baseball, respect it, and just know we're representing more than ourselves. We're representing our culture. That's what I'm saying. That's also why I like this men's league stuff too. And then y'all keep it interesting, man. Like, shit, I catch myself watching the podcast while I'm at the gym all the time.
We got to talk about it, right? I mean, there's more to it than just 9 innings.
Yeah.
There's a lot on the outside.
There is, man, and you're 100% right, man. I mean, the amount of stuff that goes on and keeping it competitive, but in a respectful way, right? Because I mean, in this class, you're gonna see what people are made about, what they're made of, because it's gonna be the best pitching, the best hitting, the best everything, man. I just hope the weather holds up and we just see some great baseball, man, and some, probably some upsets, with hey, I thought this team was gonna win and that team pulled it off, and and like you said, you're representing your country, right? So you got people who don't know who you are, but they're like, hey, I'm Mexican, so I'm gonna support Mexico. Or, hey, I'm from Cuba, I'm gonna support Cuba. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be that kind of crowd, man. And it's man, I know it's gonna go wild. I know it's gonna go wild.
I'm looking forward to it, and let's just keep building up. And like I said too, I'm liking how everybody's practicing, everybody's getting together. This is gonna be it's gonna be the real deal. So
Yeah.
let's just keep it going. We got the right crew. We got the guys behind the camera, man. Let's get this shit on the road, man. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. Rosters are getting set.
We'll be there. We might be taking bookie, bets. So
Yeah.
we'll set up a booth.
Right, no shit, right there. Come on, take your bets. Who do you got here? And we start betting on balls and strikes. What do you think the umpire's gonna call? What do you think he's gonna strike out? What do you think he's gonna do here? Yeah, I mean it's gonna definitely be a show, man. And hopefully, I'm hoping everybody stays healthy, right, between now and then, and through the classic, that nobody gets hurt. But that's why you have a 25-man roster in case people get hurt, somebody can't make it, whatever. So
double headers, I imagine.
oh, it's gonna be there's gonna be double headers on that. So it's people got to make sure they stretch themselves out, man. So you played with Mexico last year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you guys had a good squad last year too, man. And I think you guys came in second, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, we just we made a few mistakes early in that Cuba game, and they had a great pitcher, man. I mean, I remember that guy dicing up. Maybe we had 2 or 3 hits off the guy, but it's just all about learning. We learn not to make those same mistakes early on because it could cost us later in the tournament. As you see, we got hot and things started to happen, but that's just that's learning, that's building on what we already have and getting better, man. And I expect every other team to be like that. I expect, and now we're adding some USA in the mix, and that's but previously, why do we have to USA? Now we got it.
Yeah.
You know what? Y'all did all that ripping and running, that jibbing and jabbing. Y'all got 2 teams now. Let's see it, man. Let's see it.
Dude, what's funny is like somebody posted on there, hey, and with all that shit that everybody who wanted to start a USA team, with all the shit that we're talking, he's like, watch you guys get swept and shit, which totally suck, right? Like if they just had a terrible fucking tournament and shit, and it just went bad for them. But I don't really see it happening that way. But it just would be fucking funny. The other thing that I want to kind of put out there is I know there was a lot of people upset too with like, with the Austin Bullies, when they had the first USA team, but in a lot of tournaments by any league, they will always show preference to the teams that are in their league, right? Like when we go play NABA tournaments, they want coaches and managers that are from NABA. They don't want just random people just starting up a team. They want to know that you have NABA players, that they're part of this organization. And same thing with Houston Hardball. They're part of the MABL, MSBL organization. So it's one of those things where they want you to be in that organization, and they kind of give you preference that way. So to know that, like I think Team Mexico North, I think is the Stealth, which is Jonathan, and the Austin Bullies were obviously in Coastal League. It's not a surprise to me that they picked them to be the first USA team. It does suck because I know you guys they wanted it last season or last year, but it didn't happen. So I was just kind of surprised that they didn't want to pick up more people. But hey, if they got their team and that's what they want to go with, the Austin Bullies only, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I don't. This is, I've never played them. Like I said, I'm new to the men's league. I don't know much about the Austin Bullies, but I think that was kind of soft in a way. Like just, hey, this is our guys. We're going with them, this, and this.
Yeah.
Because thinking we did that with the hot shot, because we have plenty of Mexicans and hot shots. I feel like we could have done the same thing with the hot shots, honestly. But
I agree.
I feel like we're making it more competitive. We're making it more fun, separating everything between our managers, Digo, between guys on Team Mexico, Team USA, Cuba, wherever they go. I feel like this is more fun. This is more representation of what a classic would be like.
Well, yeah, like in the real class, that's a good point. Like in the real classic, you have teammates playing against each other because they're from different nations. So I definitely agree with that. And then you guys, like I said, you guys will be facing each other, and you're facing other hot shots. So it's definitely, if nothing else, you're gonna have fun playing your own teammate. And you're gonna have that over them, right?
Exactly, because me and Wells are already going at it. Like us and Brother Lula, we grew up since we were about 12, 13, playing together against each other. We're already talking mess.
Yeah.
And that's the part of the stuff that you live for, though, too.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you can compete with, grind with your brother. Win the championship, and then come and compete against them, saying, "All right, hey, let's get it." May the best man win.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely, I definitely think that makes it fun. Me and my buddy Omar, we used to go, after the games, we would do like a little one-on-one. Like he'd get up on the mound and I'd be at the, home plate, and he'd try to strike me out and I'd try to get my base hit. That would be just our little shit talking after the game. And that's what it is. We're just competitive dudes. And with Josh, here we on Friday night, we're on different teams, and on Saturday we were on the same team, the Pirates. So one day you're foes and another day you're friends and teammates or whatever. So it makes it fun, man. It makes it definitely fun. I think everybody will have a good time. So we'll see how it goes. Anything else you want to say?
Exactly, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man. Staying young, competing, and that's what keeps us young. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, everybody at work, like, why are you always excited for Friday? Why are you always excited for Sunday? I was like, man, because I get to wake up and be a kid again.
Well, yeah, Friday does start the weekend.
That's how I put this slot.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. People who don't know that don't have the love for the game the way we do here, don't understand
They'll never understand.
They'll never understand it. This is just so much fun. It's like you said, you're being a kid and you're being competitive, man. They're trying to do the best you can and do it while you still can. There's I was talking to Jordan today and he was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna quit. He's 31, I think, and he's like, I'm gonna stop baseball at 40. And I was like, why? I was like, dude, there's people who play in their 70s. The only reason I think you should stop playing baseball is because you either don't you just it's no longer fun for you. You don't want to play no more. I understand that, or you get hurt. Yeah. Those are the only two reasons I see you stop playing. But age should not stop you. There's plenty of baseball. There's so much baseball in Houston, so much baseball in the United States that you can play at whatever age you want to play at. So it's just it's up to what you want to do, man. You just got to stay healthy. That's all.
Which is easier said than done.
It is. It is. I agree, man. I've been injured. Everybody's been injured, man. Yeah. But hey, man,
and it happens more frequently the older you get. You don't know that until
Let
you
me
get
tell
older.
let me tell you how serious this men's league is for me, man. I don't know if y'all know, but I live probably what, an hour and 45 from Coastal, about an hour and a half from Mason. I don't know if you know, but I'm from over here between like Prairie View and College Station.
Oh wow,
So
I
I
didn't know
drive all the way. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's how serious it is to me. You know, like, that's how much I love the game. There's no really leagues around my area. I'm gonna come all the way to Houston. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's the drive I have for it, and you know, I see others have for it, and that's what we talked about on the hot shots. Is the reason we love playing with each other too. 1 through 15, 1 through 20, however many we have on our roster, we all love the game. We all show up. We all love the game just as much. It's not like, you know, even in college or even if like at the professional level, I played professional in Puerto Rico. There were people who didn't truly love the game, and it's hard to be around that. You know what I'm saying? Even at college, some people were there. Well, you know, I'm just playing this year to get my degree, or some people are playing for the money or whatever. So it's just when we play with the shots, we know it's for the true love of the game. You know, every single one of us, we go out there and we know we have each other's back, and that's why it's so fun to play for a team like the Hot Shots. And we just end up winning. You know what I'm saying? We just play hard 1 through 9 and just let the rest happen.
Well, at this level, it is a huge love for the game. Why else would we do it, right? We're not getting paid.
Right.
We're paying money, right? And we don't have doctors or, you know,
team doctors, right?
Team doctors or medical trainers to help us if we get injured, right?
Yeah.
It's all on us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, when you put all of that in order, it's like, hey, you really love the game.
Yeah, definitely, man. I see that camaraderie with the Hot Shots, and I see the camaraderie with like the Ramones and, you know, the Yard Goats, different teams. There's a lot of teams, the Thunder, that just have that close niche, you know, that they love the game. And I agree with you, man. I don't like it when people don't put the effort. I get frustrated with that, like, because
what are you here for, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, it just it frustrates me, and you know, and same thing, like even like the podcast, right? Me and Cody love this shit so much, we want to talk about it, you know, but we definitely rather be playing than necessarily talking about it. But we can do both. We actually are able to balance it, but it's for the love of the game, man, for sure.
Yeah, there's probably a game going on right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Pedro just got out of the game. And Carlos is back in the game now. Carlos Andrade is back in the playing field, and he was playing with the Texas Thunder today. So, he's a hot shot too. So, you know, he's working his way back into baseball. Hopefully, he'll be ready to get a couple of bats at the Classic, man.
Yeah, it looks like Texas Thunder played
You talking about Big Lowe's?
Yeah, Big Lowe's, man. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Big Lowe's, he's a swinger, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was playing with Carlos. He's about 25 or 24. I was about 17. I was watching him hit mammoths against some guys, man. That guy can swing it.
Yeah.
You know, that is one man. I've seen him put balls on the roof, man, in Canada. We were out there. He was out there putting on a clinic, man. He's a great player, and that's another man who just loves the game. I've seen this man fresh out of ACL surgery, you know, doing band work on his leg. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what this league brings. You know what I'm saying? That's what that drive, knowing he's gonna come back and play, motivated him to get better faster, man.
Yeah.
He was walking on it, you know, trying to do running stuff. I'm watching his Snapchat like, shit, man. My knees are sore, but hey, I need to be grateful. Los is out here.
And you know, Carlos
squats on one leg, man.
He'll show up even if he's hurt and he can't play. Like he'll be there for team support.
Yeah.
And that's how I was when I got injured, and I dig that. And that's how like you're really passionate about this.
Yeah,
sport.
for sure. Because I remember that, Cody, when you got hurt, I was like, oh, I'll never see Cody again.
I'm gone. This dude, I'll never see him for the rest of my life.
And then when Cody started coming to the games and started like helping us coach and score keep and all that shit, support us because he was still hurt. It was like, oh man, that's cool.
Yeah,
this dude's down to support the team and to get back in the game. So I definitely, I see, Carlos being in the lineup, if he's healthy, man, will be a dangerous at bat for sure. You know, let's see.
Exactly, man. See, that's just another. He's just another example of, to me, why this league is special too. Like I just said, he seen me as a baby, man. And since I was like, 17, playing with the college guys. I was ignorant, trying to fight boys, and now I'm the mature one. That's what I was making. I was making jokes the other day. I was like, man, I knew I grew up because the Zigo was trying to fight that umpire. I broke it up.
Oh, no
would have
shit.
probably backdoored the umpire.
That's funny, dude. That's maturity, right? That's true, dude. It's funny, and it's funny because when you watch, like I'm 42, like I still got that energy, but I know when to comment. I know when to be the warrior and when to be the gardener, right? And so it's one of those things where that's part of maturing, because I sit there and I watch young players get all crazy and I'm like laughing. I'm like, dude, I remember that. I used to be like that and want to fight the world, and it just you can't do that, man. And especially like when you're playing in the ball field like that, you show them with your stick, man. You show them with your at bat. You don't. You're doing with your pitching. In your case, you do with your pitching, you're doing with your hitting. You show them like that hey, I'm a better man than you because blah 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 blah. Then to fight them, because we're there to play baseball.
Yeah, you want to fight? I'm sure there's MMA classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey man, that shit's a different level. I just started doing that shit like 2 weeks ago, dude.
It's no joke, is it?
8 workouts. I've been to 8 workouts and thrown up 5. No lie.
Yeah, no,
That's a different animal.
Yes, it is.
But even then,
that's when you're doing it right, though.
Learn, like,
if you're throwing up, you're doing it right.
You don't go in there and just. You don't go in there and just think you're the biggest and baddest and just go in there and fight people. They're trying to teach you self-discipline through fighting type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's still like you don't go in there and act a jackass, because there's always, just like baseball, there's always somebody who will humble you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The only one that can't be humbled is McGregor, man. That motherfucker got a mouthpiece on him, man.
He got humbled his last fight, I think.
No, he didn't. He was still talking shit on the ground when he broke his leg.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
He should have got humbled, but he's still talking shit from the fucking ground. So, but man, hey, I appreciate you calling in, man, and supporting the show, man, and we'll keep, we'll keep talking about baseball.
Thank you for giving me the time, man.
No problem at all, man.
Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. I enjoy it, and y'all have a blessed one.
All right, man. You too.
All right, you do the same. Have a good night.
Bye. Well, man, that was a good combo, man. Yeah, man, it was
Team Mexico member.
Team Mexico, the original Team Mexico, because there's a Team North, right? So you got to watch out. Yeah, you got to watch out. Like, which are you talking about, North? Talking about regular? Which I feel like they should have had like a Team North and South, I guess, if you're gonna call one something. But it is what it is, and it's gonna be a great show, man. Hopefully see if we can figure out how we can video it. But it's gonna be tough because it's 2 games going on at the same time, man.
Yeah, multiple cameras.
Multiple cameras, man. Well, dude.
Well, there's a lot of people looking forward to it. So.
Oh, there is, man. Yeah. I mean, might have to put a little text into Manny like, hey, man, reserve me and Cody a spot up there.
Yeah.
Our parking spots, just out to play parking spots.
Media access, sir.
Exactly. We'll take our badges, media access, sir. We need because, I think I went out there the second day, and they were saying like the first day was really bad.
Yeah.
Between all the people that showed up, plus like where it got muddy and you just couldn't really park. There were spots to park, but you're not going to park there because it's really muddy. So I anticipate this year that with all the hype that's going on,
we'll take my truck.
There you go. that it's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be a lot of people there. So you got anything else for us to closing remarks, Cody?
I do have one thing. Speaking of Coastal, I want to shout out someone, but I don't know his name. All right.
Okay.
I was on the Beltway yesterday. It was 8 o'clock at night, driving down right next to Coastal, right? I know the field is there. 8 o'clock, it's pitch black, right? There's no lights there, right? But I see this light. I'm like, what is that? And I get closer. It is this bright LED light. Somebody's out there, has a LED light, and is doing some tee work at Coastal at 8 o'clock.
Damn.
And I dig it. I'm down with that. So kudos to you, whoever that was, putting in the work, putting in the time. I'm going to get better. I don't care. I don't need to be under, these LED high bay lights or whatever. Whatever works, I'm going to do it.
Man, that's cool, dude.
If I'm working and I don't get off, because I hate how it gets dark early right now.
Yeah.
Daylight saving times. Anyway, so yeah, I can't do it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get better any way that I can.
Yeah, I think that's
And I
cool,
like
man.
it, so.
Whoever that is,
Yeah.
I hope you made it on a coastal team.
Yeah.
A coastal classic team, and
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's disappointed because he didn't make it. And guess what? I'm starting working on it now.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude to have. It's like, hey, I didn't make it this time. I'm gonna do better
Yeah.
to show these guys, that make them regret it. Like, hey, man, this is the guy I want to pick up, next season. So
I'm not sure if he was trespassing or not, but hey, if you're getting him into work, anything goes.
whatever Dunn says, it might have been Dunn himself.
Who knows?
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Good night.
All right.